you think I'm spooky?
Be afraid. Be very afraid. What have you done to his eyes?
Good evening and welcome to Soft and Spooky. For today's video, I thought I would do something kind of fun, and I created a custom tier list where I am ranking the intros to the first 6 seasons of American Horror Story. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the tier rankings. Starting at the lowest of the low, we have Don't Be a Hater, Dear.
Don't be a hater, dear.
This ranking basically speaks for itself because I'm hating on this intro. I think it sucks and I think it's lame. A little bit better, but not great, is going to be the ranking. I don't want a cupcake.
Cupcake.
I don't want a cupcake.
This basically means that I feel like there was no passion put into it and very low effort, but there are still like a few redeeming qualities to it. Hitting around the middle of the tier list is Normal People Scare Me. I hate that became a thing. Oh, it hurts. Basically, this ranking is basic, and I feel like it's either a retread or I feel like they're phoning it in, but it does still work for the season. On the upper rankings, we have Surprise Bitch.
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
This ranking essentially means that it is return to form. I like pretty much all of it. There's just a few minor shortcomings, but it is close to perfect. And coming in at the top S tier ranking is You're All I Want, You're All I Have.
Go away, Tate. You're all I want. You're all I have.
The intros that land in this category, I think, are the best, and I feel like I can see so much creativity and passion in these ones. Alright, so with all that said, let's go ahead and sink our teeth in. First up, Season 1, The Blueprint, the start to the anthology series, Murder House. So this one really plays up the like haunted house angle, and you see a lot of footage that gives the kind of ambiance of like a dark basement. There are also some pictures of babies that kind of get that like crime documentary treatment with the negatives. Everything was coming up Millhouse until it wasn't. We also have some of those like Victorian death portraits, and I don't know, they look really real, and I kind of wonder if they use like authentic death portraits. Something that I really like about this intro is the fact that there are so many images and clips that they put in that it really like helps keep your interest, and it has really great momentum to it. There are also some like pretty good hints to what is to expect, or like the rough theming of the season, so I really appreciate that. I also like that the titles themselves actually have this kind of like burned photograph look, or I don't know what like the technical term, but it's that like chemical reaction. And I think that is a really nice stylistic choice that echoes the same kind of vibe that the Victorian photographs have. Lastly, this is the first introduction to the absolute banger that is the theme song. It's discordant, it's unsettling, and it utilizes those like gaps in the song where it's quiet to kind of create this like eerie vibe. I love it. I love it so much. Editing me, just popping in here to share a funny little story. So initially when I was planning this video, I really wanted to avoid using the official theme song to avoid copyright. And so I had the brilliant idea of trying to do a vocal cover of the theme song. And I'm going to play that for you guys now, but I think you can tell why I could not use that. So just enjoy. Boom, boom, boom.
Splendid.
So overall, I'm gonna have to rank this one in the top tier. You're all I want, you're all I have, just because this was the first time we had seen something like this, and I think that they did a fantastic job just pulling the audience in. Season 2, Asylum. Let's go. Whoo, doggy. This one is already getting me because it starts out with like an eye oozing blood or like black goo. I hate it. Good job. I think the color grading in this one really sets the tone perfectly because it is honestly like such a bleak season, like in the best way possible, but like this one made me feel just lifeless. And so I think that they reflect that really nicely with the coloring. There's also a lot more like kind of messed up imagery. Like there's a nun crawling on an incapacitated patient. Awful. There are also some really beautiful shots in this intro where like you see these shadows kind of scrolling across the statue, and you see the tunnels like with this kind of, I think it's like on an off angle, and it looks really interesting. And then I love the outline of the Monsignor. I think that looks really cool. In terms of the theme song, I think it mostly stays the same. They just added a little flavor to it. Like there's a scream at the beginning, and then at the end there's like this like it's I don't know, like metal scraping sound. Oh, for sound too, I think they added more like Foley sounds where you can hear like the straps tightening when the patient is being like secured down. I thought that was a nice little touch. I appreciated that. Honestly, I feel like this season is pretty damn close to perfect. And I don't want to come across as like fangirl. I'm going to put all of them like top tier. So there are like just a couple goofy moments that I'm kind of like, that didn't really work for me. Like I especially didn't like the like sped up footage of a patient rocking. It just kind of felt like a caricature of mental illness, and that didn't do it. Speaking of caricature, why did they make this one patient have this like distorted face? It looks like Aphex Twin. It looks like one of their album covers. So with those things said, it's so close to being perfect. Like I love it so much. And so I think I'm gonna put it just a little bit lower and put it in the surprise bitch ranking. Okay, so moving on to season 3, we are going to be looking at Coven. If I do say so myself, I think this is the most artistic intro so far. We see these like grainy black and white figures in the woods, and I feel like this is just such a unique aesthetic that this intro has. This is actually the first time with the credits that the titles themselves actually have some illustrations, as opposed to like the previous seasons where it's mostly like, I think, just a black background. One thing that's interesting, and I won't say too much about it, but during the credits, most of the titles are the same, except for Lily Rabe's title, it like disintegrates. Just thought that was interesting. So one of the first gorgeous shots is when there is like this backlit character that has these like flowy sleeves and everything, and you see like the shadow of the horns on the top of their head projected onto the ceiling. Get out! Like that's gorgeous. Another really cool shot is when there are these like hooded figures that are levitating behind this woman in the woods. Wow, that looks so cool and like kind of creepy. I think the reason that it gets me is it kind of reminds me of that first home video in the movie Sinister, because of like the graininess and the way that like they're kind of slowly levitating. I don't know. If it's just me, let me know, but yeah. Creepy! scary wise, I feel like this one was pretty okay. Like aside from aside from like the creepy contacts dude and like I don't know, the gore was pretty minimal. Like I think the grossest thing was like that sewed up mouth at the beginning, but yeah, not too bad. I really love the whole vibe that they did for this one where it's like there's something in the woods. They kind of like rely less on those quick jump cuts and flickering images and really like kind of ruminate on some of these shots that are just really beautiful. So I really thought this was a great intro. So with that, I think I have to rank this one as top tier. You're all I want, you're all I have. Next up, we are looking at Season 4 Freak Show. I think that this season's intro is something entirely different from what they have done before. It's done in this kind of like stop motion style that gives this very like uncanny feel to it. I think like the shining character designs that they did for this one would have to be the like little peekaboo clown, the zombie monkey, and the little clown under the cart. I think like the highlight of the animations or like what part really impressed me the most was the little baby dolls that like are swapping heads and there's like these kind of like spider-like fingers. Ooh, that looks so good. The music is also like heavily altered for the first time here and it is just beautiful. It starts out with it almost sounding like the music is being played backwards or like whoop, whoop, like I don't know, it's like reversed. It also has, I think, like xylophone sounds, or it's meant to sound sort of like a music box, and that is just so perfect for this season. It's also nice because it's like such a refreshing change, but it still keeps the heart of the theme song to it, and yeah, I can't sing enough praises. It was really well done. This also revisits the addition of like the Foley sounds that were in season 2, where you get these like squeaking of the balloon, of the very phallic balloons. Overall, I feel like I'd rank this one a surprise bitch ranking because it did surprise me. It felt very inventive and very new, and I felt like so much creativity was put into this. The only reason that it doesn't get a perfect rating is that there's a lot of conjoined twincest depicted, and then also I don't like the dick boot. I don't want to see that. Hotel, Season 5. Oh, I drooled. I think that this season's intro gets a lot of things right. Like the music is once again modified, and this time it sounds like it's being played through kind of like crappy elevator speakers, and it has this like kind of like violin heavy, I think. I can't tell. I'm not a music person, but there's something very haunting to it. And then there's even this kind of like intermission in the song that makes me feel so anxious. Like it really creates this weird like tension, and I just thought it was a really unique take on this theme song. In general, I love neon lights. I think that that was such a cool way to put the actual titles on the screen, and I think that it really ties in nicely because that's what you see when you drive by like a kind of seedy motel where it's these flickering neon signs that say whether there's a vacancy or not. I think like the most creative thing that they did here was these voyeuristic shots where it looks as though you're looking through a peephole because they did this kind of fisheye distortion and like a frame. And I think that that is really, really clever. I also think like this one is the first intro that like really made me uncomfortable just because like it is something that I get weirded out in hotels like just because there is stuff that can happen, and I feel like this really like played on my fears, and you see these like creepy characters through the peepholes and ooh. It also played on another fear that developed when I watched Ghostbusters way too young. And there's that scene where Dana is like sitting in her apartment on her sofa or like on the chair. And then the arms come out and like keep her held to the chair as she gets pulled into the refrigerator. Yeah, so I didn't like that the bed was like grabbing. That was scary. Oh, good job. So yeah, they are definitely trying to get me with the person coming out of... What the hell is that? So this season, I think I have to be a little bit critical. And I think I'm gonna rate this one Normal People Scared Me. Though I enjoyed like the peephole perspective and the music, I kind of felt like they were phoning it in on this one just because there were so many repeated visuals of like the same type of thing. And that just kind of felt like a cop-out as opposed to like their other seasons. So yeah, I'm sorry. I still like it. It's not my favorite. Okay, and then last but definitely least is the 6th season, Roanoke. This one will be pretty short and sweet because they didn't create an intro for this season. Boo! Boo!
Are they booing me?
No, they're saying boo earns, boo earns.
So this one is scooting all the way down to Don't Be a Hater, Dear, because I'm definitely hating on this one. I feel like it's super lame and they should know how much people love the intros. So yeah, sorry to leave this on a negative note, but that is going to conclude my first part of ranking the first 10 seasons of American Horror Story intros. Definitely let me know in the comments below what you guys would rank some of these, because I do not doubt that you guys would feel differently. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so I know you enjoyed it, and definitely subscribe so that you can keep an eye out for part 2. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to stay soft and spooky. Bye!